Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Kyron Montero. Welcome to Blog 5 of the KM Mitts Talk video blog series. Hope everybody is having a good night. First off, I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope you have good holidays. Spend it with people that you love and cherish, and just count it a blessing to still be living and being able to celebrate the holidays and spend it with your family. That is really, really important. So anywho, we are on video blog number 5, which is great because I've just launched them within the last week, so it's crazy. But I've just been trying to keep them cranking because there's always a lot to talk about. But tonight's video topic is about stop recording so hot. So what do I mean by that? Stop recording so loud. There's no need for it in today's digital recording world that 99% of studios are doing. If you go back and watch the blog 4, it talked about gain staging. So these actually kind of go together, but this is more for recording. Now, this is no flack or no dish to any of my clients, but so many times when my clients send me sessions to mix, that especially when they've recorded them in other studios, rarely do I track, but sometimes I do. But most of the time, my clients are recording in other studios, rather it's their own personal studio that they own or another studio that they're going to and paying an engineer for, whatever the case is. They're sending me sessions, and it shocks me that even the clients that I have that are going to and paying professional engineers at professional studios, they are still sending me vocals and instruments and different things that are recorded way too loud, like the same way that the artist who has their own studio and has no clue about that kind of stuff is. It's like the same thing, and it shocks me that you're paying for a professional situation and results, and yet it's still amateur. So the purpose of this blog post of stop recording so hot is to clear up why in the analog days louder was better, and why in right now in the digital days why softer is better. It's totally opposite. So let's talk about analog recording. When I say analog recording, I mean recording to tape. We all still, not all of us, but some of us use analog equipment. But probably for those of you watching this, you probably are, a lot of independent artists are not recording through analog channel strips and compressors on their way in to their software. They just got probably a little 2-channel interface, plug the mic into, and that's that. Something like maybe like the M Audio interfaces for Avid. You got like the audio boxes from PreSonus. You have Scarlett interfaces from Focusrite. You have so many interfaces now, and you can find good ones at a low price. But in the analog world, right, when they was recording on tape, recording on consoles and through a whole bunch of outboard gear and all of this stuff, they fought against like floor noise and hiss noise and all of that, right? So they had to go against noise in the console, on the tape machines, and EQs and compressors and things like that. So if they would record hotter and get the signal hitting at zero on that console, on that compressor, on that equalizer, whatever it was, that would be the sweet spot of that. It would sound better. So they were fighting against floor noise, so they had a record hider to fight against that noise. And then there was a distortion and saturation characteristic to it as well. On analog equipment, there's a sound that pleases the ear when you're driving that signal, hitting zero or hovering around that. It just, when it would hit the tape, when you're talking about the circuitry and the converters in the analog equipment, it just sounds good. Once again, I use analog equipment. It's true. Like that's true. But in digital, if you're hitting zero on the meters in your console, it's bad. Like, it's horrible. Like, you don't want digital clipping, right? No, it's bad. It's totally opposite because it's clean. We don't fight against the kind of floor noise in a computer that you did on tape machines. Like, you kidding me? No. So yeah, in the analog days of recording on tape, you recorded hotter, hitting zero on the VU meters, one, to fight against the floor noise, two, to hit the sweet spot. Well, in digital, especially now, there's no excuse to record high. I mean, the cheapest interfaces nowadays are recording at 24-bit, recording up to 96 kilohertz. So, man, that is like a ridiculous amount of headroom. So you don't need to record high. Also, there is a sweet spot in digital software. Whether you recognize it or not, most of your digital audio workstations, your recording software, most of them are set up to operate like analog consoles and tape. So the measured volume is negative 18 dB, right? Negative 18 dBFS is equivalent to 0 dB on a VU meter and an analog. That is the measured volume that's equivalent to that. So artists, engineers, musicians, producers, like, when you are recording things inside of your software, make sure that your signal is hitting negative 18 dBFS. Now, I'm not talking about peak, right? I'm not talking about like how loud it is at one point. Like, a peak meter is just telling you how loud something is. But when I'm talking about dBFS, you know, I'm talking about your average level, RMS, right? There's a different. Peak meter doesn't give you that accurate average level that dBFS does, or RMS. So what do I suggest? If I'm tracking a client, this is what I suggest. I use Studio One Professional. So in most DAWs, on your input level, you should be able to monitor where the signal is hitting. I suggest that you buy the VU-MT meter by ClaimCam. We're spoiled, man. Like, what they've done is they've modeled the analog VU meters for software. So if you take this meter, it operates in mono and in stereo, and it's not even, it's less than $50. I'll put the link on my website and in this video description. So make sure that you buy that. It's one of the best around. I suggest that. But what you can do is put this on the input of whatever your microphone, guitar, drums, whatever it is that you're recording, vocals. Like I said, it doesn't matter whatever it is that you're recording. Put this meter on there, and get it to where the signal is hitting 0 on this meter. And if you look on the built-in meters into your software, you'll notice that it matches accurately at negative 18 dBFS. Why do we want to do that? Because, one, digital does not have good distortion like analog equipment does. Digital clipping does not sound good. So don't do it. It's not analog equipment. Unfortunately, we don't have that in the digital world. It's real clean. We don't have a floor noise to fight against. So, one, digital clipping does not sound good. So don't do it. 2, just like I talked about in the gain staging post, sweet spots, man. If I'm coming in at negative 18 dBFS or grabbing the VU meter and hitting 0 on this meter, hovering around there, it's letting me hit the sweet spot. It's allowing me to have the proper headroom that I need when it comes to the mitten stage. So good tracking engineers, good tracking techniques is going to hit at negative 18 dBFS. I know that this is boring. It's not the most exciting topic, but record at conservative levels. Stop recording so high. If I'm honest, it is quite shocking and sometimes frustrating when I'm opening up mix sessions and when I'm talking to other people and we're recording so high. This is not the days of recording on tape. Now, if you're like me to where you're recording stuff through analog equipment when you are recording and then you're bringing it into the computer, you know, there's certain ways that you can drive and you have meters on there. But when you come in to the software, you need to make sure that is coming in, hitting at negative 18 dBFS. Which is equivalent, that is the sweet spot, which if you grab the Klanghelm VUMT meter or I mean there's other meters that you can grab, but I suggest Klanghelm though, man, because not only is it a VU meter, but it's a trim. So when you're mixing, you can throw it on your master bus, trim the mix down to where it's hitting 0 as well. The way the mix itself is going to be hitting sweet spots for mastering. But that's a whole nother discussion for another time period. Remember, stop recording so high. Let's do a recap. Why in digital do we not want to record high? Because it's not analog equipment. We don't have floor noise to fight against. So when we clip, it doesn't sound good. It sounds bad. So there's nothing magical about digital distortion and clipping. It's not analog equipment. So stop. 2, we save ourselves headroom. We're hitting that sweet spot. Negative 18 dBFS, the average level, not peak. We're talking about RMS. The average level, negative 18 dBFS, is the measured sweet spot and volume for digital recording. I hope this was helpful. Once again, it's not the most exciting. It's not the most exciting to talk about, but it is a necessity though. So these are the kind of things that will make your music sound better. So I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and shout out to all my clients and everybody who supports me. We're going to keep these blogs coming. Y'all get back to making happy music and beautiful music. And remember, stop recording it so high. Keep your recording levels conservative. Negative 18 dBFS. I can't stress that enough. Klanghelm VU meters. Remember, I'm going to put the link in this video. So, in this video description and blog description. So make sure that you check their meter out. Real cheap. Not cheap, but it's affordable though. No, it is pretty cheap. It's very, very low cost and it's accurate. So and it gives you the feel of working on analog equipment, because even though workflow has changed, concepts and how we do things, the goal has not changed. Let me say that. So yeah, man. Merry Christmas to everybody.